Okay, we've got the signal that we're back on recording, so we're good to go.
Madam Chair, if I
Yes,
may.
thank you.
Item 7A for possible action, consideration and possible acceptance of the Truckee River Flood Control Project Needs Committee report on regional flooding issues affecting Washoe County, Nevada. And we have JLD in here to make the presentation.
Thank you and welcome.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I will be here in Washoe County until the end of August, and then I'm retiring. So my tenure of work here, I think, is done as good as I could do it. The reason why this body, the Planning Commission, received a copy of this report was an AB 375 in the 2016 legislature, or the 2017 legislature, excuse me. It said that we were, as a needs committee, to submit a report to the governor, director of the Legislative Council Bureau, Regional Planning Commission, the Board of County Commissioners, the city councils of Reno and Sparks, and the Tumorf Board of Directors. The report must contain a summary of existing flood management plans adopted by the county, Reno, and Sparks, including capital improvement recommendations, description of areas most affected by flooding that are not covered by the TURFMA flood protection plan, a description of the source of flooding, compilation of projects suggested in existing community planning documents that would address known areas of flooding, and recommendations for flood protection measures for known sources of flooding, recommendations of issues that need further study and modeling. What you may have seen, and Ms. Robinson, I don't know if you were able to give a copy of the report to each member of the Planning Commission. It's a relatively small report. The appendix you did not get a copy of. These are the appendices. They are available on our website, however, and may be downloaded and printed at your leisure. This came about because Senator Ratty and Assemblyman Sprinkle were worried that the flood control project would usurp all of the available resources for drainage and flood control in the county and not allow for further expansion of those project elements. What are some of the problem areas that we have? You probably have heard them individually, but collectively, I might just quickly state, we have the irrigation ditch problem that both the county and Reno have to suffer with, and even Sparks in the ore ditch as well. We have the North Valley's problem. You just know about the settlement that occurred. Those are the two big areas that we have to deal with. And those solutions are extremely difficult. I've been a hydraulic engineer for 42 years, and it's a problem that I could not fix with $100 million, and each one with $100 million. And you all have been following the court case. There's a lot to be said about that, but this is not the place for that. This report summarizes all of those elements that are within Washoe County. All these appendices are basically the master plans that were submitted by the governmental entities, City of Reno, City of Sparks, County. And so we incorporated all their master plans, and we did a very short summary of elements that we thought were necessary. There's a small recommendation list. And it was to be given to the governor, Legislative Council Bureau, I mentioned, you all, the governing bodies of the governmental entities, and that was it. Now, from a logical standpoint, and the only real point that I want to make out of all of this, you know, anytime that staff applies for any funds at all, there needs to be some standing document on a shelf somewhere that the governor or the LCB or whomever can pull off the shelf, dust it off, and look at it and say, you mentioned that right here. Well, I got them all. And I'm the one that wrote it. So if there's any comments or criticisms, I certainly will take them. The interesting thing is that in 2007, my name, along with John Enlow's name, are on the master plan for the city of Reno and the county, the TMZ that was done back in 2007. I wrote that one as well. So I kind of know what I'm talking about with respect to this region. At any rate, so we now have a plan that's been accepted, legislative, duly required, submitted on time and in the proper format, and it's on the shelf, and anytime anybody wants to reference, we have all the appendices that have all the projects that all the governmental entities have requested. And I worked in tandem with John Flansburgh, John Martini, and Dwayne Smith, and you know those names. So we submitted it to you. You're the only body that has asked to hear from me, which is, I thought, kind of ironic because you're probably the furthest away from the actual dealing with flood problems on a day-to-day basis. But I'm glad you did, and I'm glad for the opportunity to say, if there's any questions, what can I do? What can I tell you? I will just say this, the last point. As my deputy director, and I can't say whether my board will push him up to be the new director, executive director of the flood agency, but he was a member of the needs committee. He spent a year and a half working on this report, you know, meeting by meeting. And you all know and understand long, laborious meetings trying to discuss this point or that point. He was a member of that committee. And the funny thing about it is he still wanted to work as staff for the flood agency. So I think we have a very, very good individual, hopefully, that can replace me. But with that, I am done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from commissioners? Thank you. So this is a possible action item. So then is just to receive, correct? Okay.
It would be to accept, or
To accept, yes.
yeah, accept the report. Thank you.
We need a motion? Well, I move that we accept the Truckee River Flood Control Project Needs Committee's report.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to Ms. Robinson on her appointment.
Yes, now I need another motion to adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
all right. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned again. Thank you.